This is the Wealth Ability for CPAs show. Better clients, better practice, better life. Here's Tom Wheelwright.
So the common complaint I get from CPAs is clients don't pay their bill. They don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate us. They're always being negative with us. And how do we turn that into a positive situation? And today we're going to talk about positivity, and it may not be exactly what you think, because positivity, as we're going to learn from our guests today, starts with us. It doesn't start with other people. It starts with us. It starts about how we think about things, what we do in our surroundings, how we look at life. And I'm very excited to have Anthony Iannarino. Did I get that right, Anthony?
Close. You know your friend Anna who lives in Reno? Iannarino.
Iannarino. Okay,
Yeah.
There you go. Anthony Iannarino. There we go. So welcome, Anthony. Really great to have you on the show, and really love this topic. I think it's one of the more critical topics for CPAs, especially as we get towards the end of the year. We're starting to do year-end tax planning, year-end budgeting for clients, projections, and getting into pretty soon, we'll be issuing engagement letters for 2024. So Anthony, welcome to the show. And if you would, give us a little of your background, how you started talking about this.
Oh, well, how I started doing this was, I'll give you the shortest version of this. I had two brain surgeries when I was 25 years old after having a grand mal seizure. And then I decided at 26 that I was going to go to college, even though I tried to drop out of high school every day. I had no interest in high school because it wasn't very interesting to me. I was a political science major, so I mostly just argued with people about politics day and night. And then at some point, I found out that I won the Dean's Academic Scholarship to law school, which meant another political environment where everybody argues about politics all the time. And I had this great mentor named Mike Distelhorst, and he said, you know, you're really angry. You're upset about all these things that go on politically, and you're always paying attention to geopolitical things, and it's super negative, and you're really angry, and you should let all of this go. Now, when somebody says just let something go, like that's not the best advice that you're ever going to get. Like, how do you let it go? And he said, you should just think about, don't worry about the government. They're not going to have any impact on your children, but you are. So outrun the bastards and make the money that you want so you can give the family what you want your family to have. And I walked away from that and I thought, he's a madman. I mean, how am I supposed to just give all these things up that I've been doing for a long time? And about 6 months later, I realized I really was angry. I mean, angry. And I got rid of every political, anything, a magazine, news, anything. I turned off CNBC, I turned off MSNBC, I turned off Fox. And I decided I was going to remove every negative source in my life. And I did it for 30 days. That's what I told myself I was going to do. But at the end of the 30 days, I felt better. And I thought, I wonder if I did it again, if I would feel even more better, having gotten rid of more of the negativity. So I went 60 days. And then at the end of 60 days, I realized I got something wrong. I wasn't putting in positivity. I was only removing the negativity. So I felt a lot better. Then I started listening to Stephen Covey, Anthony Robbins, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, anybody who was positive. I was just taking in just positive, trying to blow out the negativity if I could. And it turned out that I just never stopped doing it. So when I tell them, like, turn off the news, they're like, how am I going to know what's going on? All the negative people in your life are going to tell you that negative things are going on. You won't be able to escape from it. They want you to know that something is bad and you should be concerned about it like they are. But I'm a lot happier. I feel a lot better. And I've just never gone back to doing this.
So let me ask you a question, Anthony. So how's it affected you in your business? I mean, clearly you're not in the political scene anymore. You know, you've changed careers and everything, but how do you see that's affected you financially and in your business career?
I've had a number of people that I've worked with in different businesses that are really negative. And exactly what you and I said at the beginning of this, you said this at the beginning. A lot of people think, oh, my clients don't pay me. They're these terrible people. Whenever I hear somebody say this, they normally say it like this: if it wasn't for employees and clients, my life would be wonderful. And it's like, well, you're not gonna be very positive if that's what you believe about people. And I will give you a short story if you want one about how you might think about this. If you're listening to this, what you might do about it. My younger brother is a professional comedian. His name is Jake Iannarino. And if you go to see him, I am not responsible for any if you have any like heartburn about this, if you don't feel good about what he said, I warned you. So he's a very dirty comic. So I'm warning you not to do this. He drives from place to place. So he'll go from Ohio to Illinois and he'll do a number of shows there. And he's always unhappy about how people drive. And he thinks that they have road rage, and he had some because people drive so bad. And then one day he told me this guy was trying to cut in front of me, and he was just driving erratically. And I looked at his face and I recognized that he was under some pressure. And I said, well, what did you think was going on? And he said, he looked just like I look when I'm too far away from a rest stop and I really need to get to a bathroom. And I said, well, how could you know that just by looking at his face? And he goes, because this happens to me all the time. And so then he just said, he told the guy, like, go, get in front of me. And I thought, you just lied to yourself. You have no idea if he was driving bad because he's drinking. I mean, you have no idea. But he's no longer angry with people. He's like, there's some stress that they're experiencing that's causing them to be reckless right now. And then he just let it all go. And I thought, that's an amazing thing for a comedian to come up with. I didn't think he was this kind of a thinker, but his thing was just, if you think that they're doing something that is erratic or something that bothers you, the person who did the most work on this is a guy named Albert Ellis. He did cognitive behavioral therapy. And he said there's an activating event, and then there's your belief about it, and then there's the consequences on how you respond. So all you do is change the belief. So when somebody cuts you off, you're like, that person's child is sick, and they're trying to get them home so they can take care of their child. I mean, so you can lie to yourself a whole bunch of ways like that. It'd be better than being angry all the time.
Let me turn this a little bit. So I have this this belief, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, that we bring about whatever negativity is around us or positivity that's around us. And it's really up to how we look at life. I mean, for 100%. example, we were talking before we started recording that long ago, I learned that CPA stands for cheapest people in America. And I look at, because what's interesting is what you said about, if it weren't for employees, if it weren't for clients. I hear this all the time. I've heard this for 45 years. If it weren't for clients, this would be a great business. I'm going, if it weren't for clients, this would not be a business. And I'm going, why are you in this? And so I always look at, well, why are you here in the first place? Why do you get up in the morning? What is it because you're just trying to put food on the table, or you actually have something you want to accomplish with people? For me, it's all about the clients. I always say it's clients first, right? Better clients create a better practice, create a better life. This is our theme in our Wealth Ability franchises. And so I'm going, okay, so I think if we, my theory is, if we are more positive outwardly, and then it reflects on other people, and we actually end up with more positive people in our life, and we end up seeing more positive things in your life. And am I just looking at life through rose-colored glasses, or do you think that there's something to that?
I think that whatever you manifest it in yourself first. So in the book, The Negativity Fast, which is the book that I'm promoting right now, my 6th book, all the other 5 are sales books. This one is not. But I never told anybody what the secret of this is. So I'm telling you, the first 11 chapters are, you have to figure out how to stop yourself from being negative before you even go on the negativity fast. Because if you don't have the strategies to say, I'm manifesting this in myself and I don't need to. If you're a complainer, and I was a complainer, like if there was let's say an Olympic sport called complaining, I'd have like 9 gold medals because I complained all the time. And then I started to age. Has that happened to you where you start to age a bit? And then you start to think, this is pretty good here. Have you ever had like pizza or ice cream or a dog or family? Like, oh, it's so good here. And we don't look at all the good thing because we have something called a negativity bias. We always see the negative, and it's always clearer than the positive for some reason. It's just how we're wired.
So that brings me to I just returned from a speaking trip to Europe, and I noticed I was getting on the plane at Heathrow Airport in London. I'm listening to people, and I'm looking at people, and it's the Americans, it's the rich Americans who are complaining.
Of course.
Why is that? I mean, how is it that, rich people? Why would rich people complain? I mean, you're getting on. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going, this is amazing. We're getting on a plane nonstop from London, England to Phoenix, Arizona.
Amazing.
And it's going to be a smooth ride and we're going to have comfortable seats. I mean, everybody that was complaining was in first class. So it's not like they were stuck back in the tail, right? And I'm just going, what would cause them to be complaining about something that to me is a miracle?
It's their birthright. They think that they're supposed to be complaining. I would tell you, I'm in Columbus, so you're in Phoenix. You can go places. I have to go places because I'm in a small airport, and sometimes I get stuck. And I would call my wife and I would complain about I'm supposed to be home at 9. Now I'm going to be at 11:30, and now I'm going to be tired tomorrow. And I start complaining. And one time she interrupted me and she said, how long before your plane gets there? And I said, 2 hours. And she said, what would you do if you had 2 hours completely free to yourself? And I said, well, I would either write a book or I would read a book. And she said, well, read a book. And I said, well, I don't have a book. And she said, walk into one of those stores and buy a book and then enjoy yourself for your 2 hours, because this is what you would be doing if you had the free time. And I'm like, okay. I went and bought a book, and now I just always carry a book with me, because if the gods of flight decide to take a plane out, like, okay, I'm going to have a book and I'll do something productive. So
yeah,
just
so she
adapt.
She was looking at this as a gift. You got a gift.
Now it's a gift.
Hours. You got a gift of 2 hours. And I'm looking at our clients and I'm going, to me, every client's a gift. I mean, I am privileged to work with them. My job is to serve them. And they not only provide income, but they provide, mental stimulation, positive opportunities, a chance to be creative. I mean, to me, and plus they put food on the table for all my employees, right? So I look at this, I'm going, what a great gift the clients are. And I find that I've found that when I'm looking at it that way, and I'm looking at it's about the clients and it's not about me, that we don't have billing issues. We don't have collection issues. We don't have that stuff. And I think that is really from two things. This is my supposition. One is that I'm focused on them. And so they know that I'm focused on them. And the other is that, I've really made a point not to be cheap in my own life.
Yes.
I was in a luggage store, and it was a very high-end luggage store. Okay. This is luggage that runs $1,000 for a piece of luggage. I'm in this luggage store, and this guy and his wife are shopping for luggage for their daughter who's just graduating from college. And I'm listening to him. I'm going, I got to tell you, best luggage in the world. It is awesome. I own like 5 different pieces of it. And the guy says, it's really expensive. And I said, yeah, he says, and I have a hard time spending money. I'm a CPA. And I'm going, I don't have a hard time spending money. And I'm a CPA. And I'm just going, what a difference though, to me, if I can appreciate nice things, then I can appreciate that my clients want to appreciate nice things as well. And I can kind of focus on that and really take money off the table. So, to me, it's like, why are you making money a negative thing? If you make money a negative thing in your life, you don't want any of it.
Yeah, I've got a person in my life who is incredibly rich and incredibly cheap. And there's no reason for her to be cheap because she has enough money for certainly the rest of her life and her children's life. So, but she's cheap. And when you're cheap, the bad thing about that is you're cheap, and like you're not going to have the experiences that you should have you're here for, I don't know if you want me to tell you the number, but I will. 4,108 weeks. That's the average life in America. The number keeps going down because of fentanyl and suicides, but you have about 4,000 weeks. I have like 1,300. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to enjoy every part of this. What are you going to do with money? You're going to put it in a coffin with you and take it with you to the other side? It's not going to happen. So you may as well enjoy it and make your family enjoy that money too while you got it here, right?
No, I like that. And I just think that, I appreciate, the other thing I appreciate is I do appreciate our profession. Now I find a lot of negativity in the CPA profession, but I'm going, wait a minute, here you've dealt with hundreds, if not thousands of clients over your lifetime. You have all of this experience, all of this knowledge, and your clients are dying to hear it. They're dying to get this knowledge and they'd willingly pay for it. So why are we keeping that from them? But to me, it's just because it's either, here's my question to you. Is this our own feeling of not, of negative net worth? Or are we, why are we selfish with this information when we could be delivering amazing opportunities for our clients?
I think that one of the best things that we do as business people, so I do sales training, leadership coaching, I do a number of things like that. I also have a couple staffing companies that I have equity in. And I think when you are able to help somebody solve a problem that they can't solve without your insight and your experience, your knowledge, your authority, your expertise, it's a gift. If you have that and you've done all the work to be able to do this, the best thing that you can do is help other people. There's not anything that makes us feel better. And in the second to last chapter in this book, I tell a story about every year I go into the Humane Society and I buy all the dogs. Now, I'm not crazy. I don't take the dogs. I just buy them. So I'm like a bail bondsman for dogs at the end of the year. And the last time I did this, I bought 9 dogs. That's how many dogs they had. And they said, please don't buy the dogs. Just let us have the money because we're going to have get some training for some of these dogs. It's going to be really expensive. I said, you can use the money however you want. And then they said, would you mind taking a picture with this dog? A giant white pit bull. And it was rather, let's say it was moving around quite a bit. So they took a picture with me with this dog. And then they put it on their Facebook page. And some woman saw the picture and they said, this guy's an angel. Like it's not that much money. But he bought all the dogs and he gave us this money. The next day, a woman saw that. She walked in and bought every single cat at the Humane Society. That's got to be like 46,000 cats. I have no idea. There's a lot of cats in there. And then 2 of my friends on Facebook saw that and said, you mean to tell me you can buy the dogs and not have to take them with you? And I said, they're going to take your money. Go give them the money. And then I had a number of friends go in and just give them more money, pretending that they were buying the dogs. What more fun is there than just making a difference, right? What are you here for? So I just think that when we're at our best, we're helping people with real problems. We're doing everything we can to make sure that they get the results that they want. What else are you going to do here? This is what we do, right?
I love that. And this is what we do as entrepreneurs. This is what we do. The job of an entrepreneur is to solve a problem. And when you solve a problem, you get a bigger problem to solve. And I love that. If we can, Anthony, let's switch a little bit to negativity in the workplace. So we kind of talked about okay, how do we not be negative with clients? Well, we appreciate the client. So let's say we've got employees, we've all had those. We actually have called our office a no drama zone from day, from day one. There's no drama in our office. If you want to have drama, go do that somewhere else. If you want to have drama, that's fine. You can be employed somewhere else. You don't have to be employed here, because if there is drama, you're not going to be employed here very long. How do you deal, or how do you suggest dealing with a negative employee? Somebody who's just really like not a positive influence.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how dangerous that is. So I've done in this book that I wrote, I cited everything, because when I read about gratitude, the claims were so outrageous. I was like, nobody's going to believe this. Like, it will lower your blood pressure. It will give you it will remove inflammation. It will give you a better chance of not having a heart attack. It's so many things. I started to do this. It only takes one person to turn other people toxic. And then once that person gets somebody to be toxic, then you start to have a toxic environment. So you're right. You have to protect against that. And either that person has to change their outlook on life, and their life will be very short, because it is shorter if you're negative. So one of the things, you will live longer being positive than being negative. But once they start to infect everybody else, I describe it this way. The only cancer that travels between humans is negativity. I'll get you negative, and then you'll get the next one negative. Pretty soon we have a toxic environment, and all of a sudden we're not doing good work anymore at all, because we're all sitting around complaining and being negative. I would tell you my own, as an entrepreneur myself, once I have a conversation with you and that doesn't change, I will remove you, because I'm not going to let you infect the rest of the people that work here. I just won't let anybody ruin people. It's not worth it. And no matter what I have to do, I would move them out rather than keep them there, just because the risk is too great.
I like it. So that goes along with the old adage, right? Is hire slow and fire fast. And
yeah, absolutely.
That would be a case you would fire fast. I agree with that. I find that we've all had them, right? We've all had the negative people. I think what's most important is that it's not us, right? Because if it's us, we've got to change ourselves. So what are, if you could, give us 2 or 3 steps that people can do if they find themselves complaining, whether it's on the road, the airport, at the restaurant, wherever, and we catch ourselves. Okay, so we're watching for it now. What are 2 or 3 things we can do to kind of shift that negativity to a more positive focus?
I will give you my best story on this, and what you can do. There's a guy that they call the father of positive psychology, Martin Seligman. I think he was at Penn State. And when he became, he was going to get into psychoanalyst and become a psychologist. And everything was negative. Like, you need a pharmaceutical or you need a psychoanalyst, or both. And he thought, this isn't the right way. Like, we should try to flourish. We should try to be happy. We should try to be effective. And he built that idea. But one thing that he did, he was on Time magazine, and he got an entrepreneur who built a website with him, and it was called 3 Blessings. And what he asked people to do in Time magazine was, at the end of the night, every night, you write down 3 good things that happened to you during the day and why those things were good things for you. So you write down those 3 things. Okay, you do it for 2 weeks. And Seligman will tell you in a book called The Hope Circuit that, as far as they can tell, if you are anxious, stressed, or depressed, you will not be for as long as 6 months after doing that exercise for 2 weeks. And I would tell you, you should do it for a lot longer. But if you're complaining, if you're negative, and you start to do this exercise every night, what will happen to you is you'll have this journal. It won't be like a gratitude journal where you go like, I love my wife, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my job. That's just repetitive. You'll just end up saying the same thing over. But now it's like something that actually happened in that day. When you go back through your journal, you're like, man, a lot of good things happen to me. Like, every day, good things happen to me. And that can help you to eliminate some of the negativity bias that we have, because now you're focusing on the positive things that are happening to you instead of the difficult things that happen to you. Everybody has negative events. And I would tell you, you are allowed to be negative when the circumstances would say you should be negative. But that's not very often for us. And a lot of it is internal to us. So that's the part that we have to get a hold on, is what we think and what we believe and what's in here in our bodies, because that's what's mostly going to drive us.
I love that. It's always seemed to me that negativity and gratitude can't occupy the same space.
That's true.
And so, the way kick negativity out is actually to replace it, not to just eliminate it, and actually replace it with something positive. And gratitude is always the most positive thing we can replace it for, whether it's gratitude for clients, gratitude for staff, gratitude for spouse, gratitude for family. I think there's so many things.
Aren't you grateful for the problems that your clients have?
Oh, of course. I mean, if they didn't have problems, we wouldn't have.
Right.
Plus, it makes life interesting. Problems to me, one of my one of my favorite books is all about barriers, right? That's where good things come, is when we run up against the barriers, when we run into
the Ryan Holiday's.
That's Ryan Holiday's book. Yeah.
Yeah. Great book. The obstacle is the way.
The obstacle is the way. Highly recommend it. So, because that is, I think these are all opportunities, and any criticism we get, actually, I think, is a gift as well, because it lets us know, and it helps us correct our course. And I love that. Before we wrap up, any final things that you would like to add here, Anthony? And by the way, the book is The Negativity Fast. I love it. And really, it's about increasing your positivity, which I think will increase, you'll end up with better clients and a better practice and a better life. I believe that. My book, Tax Free Wealth, and my two books, and the Win-Win Wealth Strategy, are both about how to see the positive side of the tax system and make it work for you and your clients. But any final words about positivity here?
I just think that you're here for a short time. And I think that you should do everything you can to just make it the best life that you have. And if you're negative, it won't be the best life that you can possibly have. And you already know this because you've been practicing it. And it is a practice. I mean, good things happen and bad things happen, but it's how we deal with those things that make the difference. And I think that people should do better by getting rid of the negative sources if they can, because the divisiveness that we have with politics and the anger that people have right now is just not very healthy. And it would be better if they would try to remove all of those things for some period of time and see if they don't feel better. I believe they will.
I love it. And I would add one thing, is that look at your values. Look at the values of your company. Our very first value is have fun with it. And I always think, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? Because life should be fun. And with that, I want to thank Anthony Iannarino. The book is The Negativity Fast. Your website is thesalesblog.com. Is that right?
Yeah. 5,150 blog posts written. Now I have the carpal tunnel to prove it. So
that's awesome.
I write every day since December 28th, 2009. Every day, minus 13 days when I was in Tibet. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to post from Tibet, but it turns out China Mobile was better than being in Columbus, Ohio. Like it was so good, but there's nobody out there. And so you got all of the bandwidth yourself. So that was the only time I missed.
That's awesome. So thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Remember, we have a great opportunity to serve our clients, to serve our employees, to make life better for us and for everybody around us. And when we do, we'll always end up with better clients, a better practice, and a better life. We'll see y'all next time.
You've been listening to the Wealth Ability for CPAs show. Better clients, better practice, better life. To learn more, go to wealthability.com.